Hey everyone, how are you? Hello, husband. So as I was getting on, I saw that Harper's Bazaar is going live. Harper's Bazaar Brides Magazine is going live, and I'm like, oh, nice. Okay, no competition there with Brides and Harper's Bazaar. All right, I'm just waiting for some more people to log on. Thank you. How's everyone doing today? Good? Hi. Okay, guys. So we are doing another Instagram Live. I'm so excited. I have Hogified Media here doing a YouTube recording for us as well, and I'm just so excited to have all of the support. As people start coming on, I just wanted to share that we have worked very hard internally on the blog that we just made live. There's a lot of information on there about wedding and social etiquette amidst the COVID-19. We have put a lot of heart into this, and part of what prompted it is that I had calls with actual couples and even a couple of inquiries about, what is the etiquette going to look like in these weddings. I've also been talking to planner friends like Lori Aarons, who I adore, and just joining in conversations with the LVL girls, Heather and Lindsay, and I even got to be part of Brooke Keegan's live the other day. As we're moving through this, I'm getting a lot of different, hi Madison, I'm getting a lot of different feelings from people about, are weddings going to open? Are they not? I'm hearing in California that, they might not allow gatherings of over a certain amount of people. I'm hearing mixed signals with, planners in South Carolina. And for me, I'm just feeling really confused and just have a lot of questions. But at the same time, let's be real. Weddings are going to start happening again. And when they do, I just want us to be prepared. So questions that have come up are, that I've been asking myself are, are people going to hug? Are people going to handshake? When the guests get off of the shuttles, are they going to be celebrating and close-knit? Are they going to be further apart? I'm thinking about like at the ceremony time, are we going to have, benches instead of chairs to give people their space? And I'm just literally like walking through the day of the wedding and thinking about all these things. So for me, guys, weddings are such a personal experience. It's such a heartfelt event, touching and feeling and emotions and, hugging. It's all a part of weddings, right? So as we look to, May coming, and then June and July, I have my first event with a amazing family in July in Burbank, California. It's a first birthday party, and as of now, the planning is still on. I do expect a large guest count for that event, and I will be flying. As a matter of fact, I'm flying next month to Arizona to spend a little time with family. And, for me, like the thought of opening back up, the world slowly, it's happening. It's already happening. And I do think that it's just a matter of personal responsibility, wearing masks through the airport when you travel, taking care of your children. If you're sick, taking note of that instead of like pushing through it and going to work or whatever it might be. Speaking of masks, I want to ask you all, do you think masks belong at a wedding? Like, could you imagine in August, September, October, November, as we await a vaccine, or we await, new social measures, do you envision a mask at a wedding? Because I have my answer, but I want to know your answer. So if you think that you will have, that you can't, wait, hold on. Can you imagine having masks at a wedding? Raise your hand, say yes. I see a question, can we have branded masks? Yes, we can, but let me tell you guys something. I don't think that masks belong at a wedding. And if people do think so, then I think we have a bigger problem. I think that, at least for me in my market, people just shouldn't travel then. I just cannot physically imagine being at a wedding and not being able to see smiles. And, if you're gonna have masks at weddings, like, let's just not have the wedding. Let's postpone it. We postponed a wedding as far as March of next year. If you're that concerned, let's just not have masks. What are the other things we can do though? And this kind of gets me into the blog that we put live, which, again, if you haven't read it, go ahead and read it after this. There's a lot of subject matter on social etiquette, hugging, are we going to be doing elbows, what are weddings going to look like? I've been putting up some fun graphics on my story, and I've, enlisted in some industry pros like Joel Serrato, Wendy Laurel. I've even chatted with Chef Lee over at Sugar Beach Events, our #1 caterer. I have, I've been asking these questions and what things are going to look like. And, photography. Photography is such a important part of your wedding day. And, in those times where these photographers are going to need to get close to you, they're going to need to give you direction, they're going to need to, be with your family, is that going to make you comfortable? I don't know, Jose, Joel's husband, Jose, not Jose. But Joel shared with me that if distance is a priority, capturing from afar will definitely tell a unique photojournalistic approach to your wedding day photography. He also shares that they have the ability to be creative with wide angle and telephoto lenses, which for him, Joel, is very normal. And he actually always switches lenses around to tell a story from different perspectives. Wendy Laurel, she chimed in and said that if you wanted her to wear a mask at your wedding, she will wear a mask. This is a photographer, Wendy Laurel. She said that she does not feel that her ability to take beautiful photographs that capture the feel of your wedding day is impacted by practicing responsibly social distancing and hygiene, such as maintaining space between you. And again, she said she would wear a mask if she, but come on, again, I cannot imagine a photographer wearing a mask at a wedding. To me, guys, a mask at a wedding is just, shouting out to all your guests that, hey, we're amidst this pandemic and, you could have COVID, but you have a mask on and great. No, if you feel like you are worried about that, then let's just not attend the wedding. And, what are some other things that we can be doing? I do expect for us to have hand washing stations. I do expect for us to have, hand sanitizing stations. But on the cool, I don't want to be a huge, nuance or interruption of the celebration, because that's exactly what weddings are. They're celebrations. So, are we going to see these larger groups gathering? Yes. Do I think some events might get smaller? Sure, I do. But that's going to depend on the state and, the nature of the event. It's going to depend on the venue and what their restrictions might be. But as these government mandates are lifted, these events are going to start happening again. And I don't think we should be scared of that. You know, the great thing about weddings and celebrations, they're not big corporate events. They're small gatherings, and whether it's a gathering of 200 people or 20 people, you know, these are people that you know, that you trust, that you love. Many of them are family. So just consider all of those things. Talk to your venue, talk to your planner, you know, and figure out the best course of action for you. You know, what are some other things that I talked about? Unavoidable aspects such as seating and food. You know, how are seating elements and food going to be handled? Okay, you know, I'm not saying not everybody is going to be, you know, worry free of germs at weddings amidst this pandemic. That would be really silly of me to think, you know. But I do think that if you're attending a party, that you're there to party, you're there to enjoy, you're there to celebrate, right? And those, you know, parties do come with close moments. What can we do? You know, how can we be proactive? We can think about our seating, you know, as opposed to sitting everybody very close together and long tables. You know, maybe we do smaller groupings. What we call as planners vignettes of seating, you know, different seating lounges. A lot of the weddings we're seeing have 1 or 2 seating lounges that only seats 8 to 12 people. Well, why not do 5 to 6, you know? Why not have smaller, you know, 36-inch round cocktail tables where we can put 4 to 5 guests at them? Why don't we drop down to 60-inch round or 60-inch square tables where we can sit 8 people? You know, a square table is it's square, right? So 2 people, 2 people, 2 people, 2 people. I mean, I'm not going to feel uncomfortable sitting even next to a stranger. Now, if they cough on me, that's a different story, okay? But people are going to practice social etiquette. They understand we're all living in this together. So, you know, things like cuisine, you know, going in a station or a buffet. I don't really like buffets. I usually never have buffets at my events. If my clients want a buffet, I'd rather like to call them action stations, where we have a chef there doing a live presentation. We have, you know, usually a grab and go. So grab and go like salad shakers. You know, let's make these stations, let's not make them disappear, but let's make them in a way that people are comfortable and they're not sitting in a long line of a buffet, which again, I don't like buffets. So, you know, let's figure out how these stations can be more grab and go, more interactive. Let's think of ways that we can entertain our guests. You know, when the guest steps off a bus or walks into the venue, you know, sometimes there's this awkward silence, not at my events, but there is because I've attended these events. You know, have water stations there, have musicians, have entertainment, have a guest book, you know, have things that these guests, it's going to fill their mind and they're not going to be thinking about the obvious. You know, I'm thinking of weddings, you know, an event starting in July, August, September, before a vaccine comes out. I don't even think a vaccine, from what I'm hearing, is going to come out until the middle of next year, if we're lucky. You know, but in the meantime, you know, the world is going to start opening, and we, you know, as event planners have to, you know, make sure that you guys feel comfortable so that, again, we're not seeing masks at events. If I start seeing that, I'm going to highly recommend that we probably pause, because I just don't believe that they should be at an event. Let's see. Chef Lee, our amazing catering partner. She actually gave me a really great tip. So what are caterers going to do? I've had some brides asking me, you know, what new policies are they going to put in place to practice hygiene? You know, what sanitation? There has been no medical confirmation that COVID-19 can spread through food. So that's encouraging. The precautions that Chef Lee expects to take is that they will be, working with a small team to prep and execute catering events. So they will prep before the prep. All staff, at least in the kitchen, will be required to wear face masks while they're working with the food. And then hands, they are going to implement this policy, which I actually saw on March 15th. They will be washing their hands every 20 minutes, no matter what. Now, this is a cuisine staff, the food staff, and the safety, and Chef Lee closes with, the safety of our team and guests is paramount. And our goal is to make every event as elegant as possible while keeping everyone safe. Now, of course, everyone's going to follow the CDC guidelines, whether you're at a hotel, a private event, whatever that might be. And again, talk to your planner. Communicate with your photographer. Did I say talk to your planner? They are the ones planning this event. And so if you're going to proceed with it, then just make sure you feel comfortable. Ask the hard questions. To me, there are no wrong questions. Ask them all. If you're thinking it, ask it. And ask it soon. Hair and makeup. What is hair and makeup going to look like for all you lovely brides? We talked to Hayley Autumn with Hayley Autumn Beauty here in Maui. And she said that she knows that having someone touch your hair and face can be a little overwhelming in general. So now during this time, when we're learning not to, touch our face, to have someone touching it might be a little daunting. So they also are going to be wearing masks, Hayley Autumn and team. She's having customized masks made so that when they are very close to you, not just themselves, but their team is protected. And she's also going to be wiping down her makeup chairs with sanitization, also using hand sanitizer in between each client, and then also providing essential oil blends to help elevate the mood. So again, guys, I wanted to have this open dialogue today so that we could all talk about what events are going to look like when they start happening again. Dancing was another one that came up. So, dancing, you get hot, you get sweaty on a dance floor. Weird things happen on dance floors. I've seen all kinds of things. That's a whole other topic. But, what's dancing going to look like? Are people going to dance on the dance floor? Are they want to get hot? After a few drinks, anybody might dance on the dance floor. So anyway, I was talking to a bride the other day, and she said that they don't think they're going to dance really anyway. So I suggested, which my team came up with this idea, but what about doing like a, bride and groom trivia? I know that sounds so silly, but we can make it really cool. And if this bride doesn't think that dancing is going to happen anyway, like after dinner is going to be more like reminiscing and s'mores and fire pits. This is a December wedding. Okay, great. Let's do a trivia. Another one I got was karaoke. I don't know, karaoke belongs at weddings. I've never seen it, but I'm willing to try it, So for me, I'm actually looking at this as a great way to provide more entertainment at our events, For me, planning weddings is more than just, logistics and timelines. It's about planning experiences. So from the first time, your guests step onto the property, what are they going to see? At one event we had over the summer, we had a lipstick reader. So someone that actually read your lips and told you your fortune based upon your lips. It was really entertaining. It took about, at least an hour to 2 hours to get through everybody. And at any given time, all of these guests were entertained. So that's what we're wanting to do. But we're also wanting to celebrate love or celebrate whoever it is we're celebrating. And so I think that if we offer these safe practices, the hand washing stations, the hand sanitizing stations, but we also offer a lot of different, different activities, and we set up the space so it's not all together, I think we're going to be fine. And as we do open back up for weddings, I know weddings happening at the end of July of 100 people. So I know that everything's changing week by week, but as we do start getting closer to this, guys, I want us to be ready. I really recommend that you talk to your professionals, talk to your photographers, talk to hair and makeup. If you do know somebody that is autoimmune compromised, I promise you they're not going to be flying on an airplane anyway. And with that, I want to talk about one other thing, live webcasts, okay? So let's say that your guests cannot attend. Let's say that maybe they're just too elderly and they can't fly, or maybe someone's pregnant and having a baby. Whatever the case is, live webcasts are not, a new thing. Like, they've been happening for a while. So I do think we're going to start seeing more live webcasts. And for your guests that are worried and concerned, and this situation has hit close to home, maybe they've lost family members, like, you don't know people's situation, so let's not make them feel bad about not being able to attend. Let's invite them through a live webcast. Do not try Zoom on your own, okay? Leave it to the professionals. We actually enlisted Stefan Boker with Live Maui Webcast, and we asked him, what was his stance on webcast. And he says, and while we will see this becoming a hit upcoming, it is an art and science to get beautiful video and crystal clear audio to the viewing audience. From camera equipment and lenses to wireless audio and expensive internet subscriptions. That's what these guys pay for. This is a service that they're offering, so let them do their job. They also have, when you're, doing a live or anything and it times out, please, let's not let that happen in grandma's, living room in Kansas. Let's not let that happen with a, sister who couldn't come because she just had a baby. These services, these webcast services, I know they are available in your areas. I know they're available here. You can also talk to your cinematography team. This might be something that they could do for you. But again, I would not suggest doing this on your own. I would let your guests be guests, let your family be guests, and leave it to the professionals, okay? Questions. I saw a couple questions come up about seating, ceremony seating, I think. Let me see here. Yeah, seating during the ceremony, I think that we're going to, I don't see that being much different, for me. The chairs are already, a few inches apart, as well as we usually do assigned seating. So when we have assigned or reserved seating, we are marking those seats for the family and the friends. Just like we do dinner seating, I'm happy to welcome ceremony seating, where we literally have a name card, or we can come up with a cute tag or something, but something that actually names the guest and their seat where they would be sitting during the ceremony. I'm not opposed to that. I actually think that's a great idea, because nothing drives me more crazy when I add a few chairs to a ceremony and then all of a sudden no one's sitting in the back row, or maybe one person is sitting in the back row, and I'm like, hey, you gotta move up. We can't make it look like there's nobody attending this wedding. So anyhow, I'm open to that for ceremony seating, so that's a good idea. Someone else asked about date postponement announcement. So this is a great question. This has actually come up quite a bit, and I had one of our favorite stationers, Jill with Shindig Bespoke. She actually chimed in on this, and she's definitely suggesting change the date announcements. If you go to our blog, unveilthawaii.com, and you go to the part about stationery, there's actually a really beautiful mock-up that Jill did. It's a save the date. It says, we were looking forward to 5/8, bummer, we'll have to wait, and now they're going to October 23rd. This is branded, and it is branded to your invitation. I have clients that have already printed their acrylic invitations. Their wedding invitation has been printed. So what I've suggested that they do is include in their invitation a change the date announcement, a postponement announcement, and still send that invitation. This is a part of your story. So still send that invitation, and in there have the change the date announcement. There's nothing wrong with that. And at the end of the day, you are affected by this. Your guests know you're affected by it. So send them something. I also know that Jill is offering $100 fee for for a digital change notification. So she's also donating part of that money to a charity that distributes food from local restaurants. So this is a way to give back. But again, go over to our blog, get some ideas. That's what it was meant for. That's part of the reason I postponed this, is because I wanted to release it. I do think it's a great informational piece. Someone asked about a second wave. We postponed to December 4th, but have to love everyone's opinions. Well, Sarah, hi Sarah, I've been getting that a lot too, and I've had a couple of more pessimistic grooms. They're being very realistic, and I appreciate that, but planning is proceeding as normal. We are not, holding the phone and continuing to wait anymore. These weddings are happening, they are getting planned, and if a second wave comes, then we'll have to adjust. There is no guarantee. There are no solid questions or answers in all of this. I don't know if there's going to be a second wave. I hope there's not a second wave. I do feel like our government is slowly opening up. Some maybe quicker than others, but you know what? Go for it. And if they see an outbreak, then they need to scale back. I think that's what we all have to do. But we can't just sit here and close our country and close our economies, especially the wedding industry. Guys, the wedding industry is a $54 billion a year industry. It is huge, and it is huge to Hawaii, and it is huge to a lot of markets. And it is important that we open up again. But this whole, this whole live I just did with you is to share with you, like, we need to open up events again. We are going to start opening them up again. And as we, hear from the news about second waves or not, and all these different, opinions, let them have their opinions and politely say that for now, my December wedding is on, we're planning it, and we'll keep you posted with updates as they come. And then focus on the good, focus on the fun, focus on your details, yes, you might see a drop in guests, and that's fine, but focus on the ones that you have coming, because at the end of the day, you're going to get married. And that is what supersedes all. I would just encourage you guys to not listen to other people's opinions. Everybody's going to have one. And this just is too momentous of a life moment, whether you're celebrating your wedding or a birthday or whatever it is. Don't let anyone take your joy. Follow your intuition and your gut and leave it to the professionals. That is why you've hired us, and we will guide you through this. Let's see here. Any other questions? All right. So, masks at weddings, can I get a thumbs down or a yes? That's one I'm really struggling with, but guys, it's just not going to happen. Not at my events. Unless, it's extremely recommended, or my bride and groom just feel like I will rock a mask for them if that's what they want, if that's what makes them happy. But I've been doing this long enough to know what will make people, have a really good time, and what will probably just be a big Band-Aid on a bad situation. And honestly, I don't think people are going to be coming to Hawaii, attending your wedding, thinking about, they're going to be thinking about it, but not that hard. So, let's see. I think I'm done. I answered your questions. Erica, anything else? Thumbs down. Yes, Megan. I agree. Yes, Allie, love wins. One thing, girls. One thing that I got yesterday from a bride is she was asking me about wedding gown fittings. Wedding gown fittings. Yeah, the stores are closed right now. So, my suggestion, which my girl Hayley Paige has been doing all kinds of fun happy hours. You can still look at designs and cuts, still follow your favorite, designers. We have, Monique Lillier. I do know that some bridal salons across America are taking some appointments, like, appointments one person at a time. It just depends on where you're located. Well, unless you guys have any other questions, I'm going to go. And I am so happy. Moral of today's story, Alex, is to talk to your wedding planner. Talk to your professional. That is why you've hired us, and I want you to know you're not alone. You're not alone. Megan asked, how is Hawaii doing? Are there talks about them opening back up for events? We postponed our Chicago wedding to November. But if we need to postpone again, we are coming to Hawaii. Well, Megan, that is amazing. And if you do, I hope you call us. But I don't want you to have to postpone your wedding again. November, I actually have a couple in Chicago, and it seems that Chicago's doing well with all of this. My groom is going to and from work every day and business as usual. His industry hasn't been very affected by this. So I could see Chicago opening up again. I do have a couple of colleagues in Chicago. If you did want to send me a private DM, I'm happy to share their information so that you can get a better read. But yeah, Hawaii is, slowly going to start opening on, let's see, on Monday, we're opening up our parks again. I understand some gyms are going to start opening, which I'm super excited about. I can't wait. And, Hawaii has about 500 cases, a little over 500 cases, and we have done a really good job at protecting, the entrance into the state. We actually have a CDC task force in the Honolulu airport. So basically, if you land in Honolulu, you have to go through the CDC checkpoint. I expect that to be happening soon on all the islands. And I expect, especially here in Hawaii where our resources are limited, I do expect for us to see thermal screening and, things of that nature before you walk down to get your bags, just to make sure everybody's okay. We do have a large melting pot of people coming to the islands, and that is why we've taken such strict measures. But we are opening up, and, I know that